Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. I hope you're all doing well today. And in this video, I want to talk about a little bit about something that I think is very interesting, that I think that all of my viewers, but particularly my viewers who are like me, a part of the blind and low vision community, I think you guys will find this all very interesting. It's kind of a sixth sense that I've kind of developed over the last, if not last decade and a half or 2 decades, at the very least the last decade. And that is the best way that I can describe it to you is it's like a spatial awareness that I have found particularly recently that is not particularly shared with people who I know that aren't low vision, um, or have the people that have full use of their vision don't always share this type of aptitude, this spatial aptitude. So I'm going to give you two key examples that I've drawn from my life that illustrate this. And I'd be interested to hear if anybody else in the blind community who watches this has a similar experience. So I learned how to essentially go up and down steps without relying on my vision at all about 10 years ago when I was partaking in the mobility instruction from my mobility instructor through my state's occupation vocation rehabilitation program. And this was back in late high school, early college. And he basically taught me both how to go up and down the steps with my eyes closed using my white cane, as well as going up and down steps without using my white cane with my eyes closed. And I practiced that a lot and kind of adopted it as a habit very quickly and have been using it ever since as a way to navigate up and down steps without having to rely on vision. And it kind of became second nature to me. There's like a technique that I use to go down the steps. There's a technique that I use to go up the steps, especially stairs that I've never been on before in a building or a house or somewhere that I've not been to on a regular basis or have never been to before. And a technique that I use more or less in familiar territory with regards to steps that is very beneficial to me as someone who, depending on the lighting and the contrast of the steps, have a very difficult time seeing the steps. So a couple months ago, me and some family members were taking boxes of books from another family member's house's third floor to the first floor. And we had 3 flights of steps to contend with. And I was carrying this big box of books and kind of just went down the steps like I usually would, using the technique of sliding my foot forward and just kind of gauging steps and spaces and stuff like that. And another family member had a similarly sized box of books that was obstructing their vision of the steps. And they said that they couldn't take that box, it was too big, because they couldn't see the steps. And I said, well, can't you just navigate that and negotiate those spaces without seeing them? And they said, no, I can't. I just don't have that habit built the way that you do because you haven't had almost a necessity to do that. And I thought that that was very interesting. And that's really the first vivid example with regard to stairs that I have seen where I'm separated from someone who has full use of their vision. And the other example actually goes back to about 10 years ago when a family member I was in the car with a family member. I was actually in the back seat of the car, and then there was two family members in the front. And they were backing up, and they were basically trying to parallel park. And I could kind of feel that we weren't going to, it's hard to explain. I could kind of feel that we were going to hit the curb and not be able to park successfully. And I said, we might hit the curb. And they were like, oh, that's fine. Or, no, we're not. Or something. They kind of were doubtful. And sure enough, we hit the curb. The car didn't get damaged or anything, but that's another example. And that particular person was impressed with, and still talks about it to this day, 10 years later, about how impressed they were. They still use that as a story to show how I have that particular aptitude. So that's really all I wanted to talk about today, just something quick and fun. And I'm interested to hear if any of my viewers who have RP or another retinal condition, or just have trouble seeing, have similar experiences. And that's really all I wanted to talk about today. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.